Yo, what's going on guys, Camille here. In this video we're going to be doing a tier list for Nahida's best weapons. I'm going to be splitting this video into two. We're going to do her off-field weapons and then we're going to do her on-field weapons. I feel like there's a drastic difference in Nahida's weapons when she's played on-field versus off-field. So I kind of need to split them, even though usually I try to make like only one tier list and then explain the weapons. But this time it's very different, so we're going to have to split them. Alright, so starting off with her on-field weapons. This tier list is going to be for the weapons you'd want to use when playing Nahida on-field. Like you'd want to be auto-attacking with her and using her as a driver and stuff like that. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what she's going to need when played on-field. When you play Nahida on-field, first of all, you're going to need Elemental Mastery. This is very important because she's going to scale very well with Elemental Mastery, and it's going to be giving you damage bonus and also crit rate. So that's very good. You'd want to build Elemental Mastery on Nahida, at least 1,000. And you'd usually want to get that on every build, off field, on field, whatever. And then you're gonna need attack. Her auto attacks are gonna scale with attack, obviously, so it's gonna be very important to have some decent attack. And then you're gonna need crit, probably crit damage before, because you already get crit rate from the passive, and then crit rate you're also gonna need some, but it's not gonna be bad. So yeah, these are the things you're gonna need for on-field Nahida. Now moving on to the tier list. So first of all, we have the magic guide. It's gonna give you elemental mastery, and then it's gonna give you damage bonus when the opponents are affected by Hydra or Electro. Usually you probably want to play Nahida with a Hydra or Electro character, and this weapon is going to give you a decent amount of elemental mastery, so yeah, it would be pretty good. But the problem is with the low base attack. It has a very low base attack. It's even low for a 3-star weapon, so yeah, it's not going to be like super good, but it's still going to be usable. I'd put it at B tier. We've got the Thrilling Tales. It's going to give you HP and then some attack support. It's not really going to be worth it for a on-field Nahida, so yeah, I'd put it at D tier. The Otherworldly Story, energy recharge and then HP, yeah, it's going to be D tier. We've got the Emerald Orb. It's going to give you a decent base attack and elemental mastery as a substat, and then it's going to give you some attack from the passive. It's pretty good, but you're going to have to play her with a Hydra on your team. That means in Bloom teams. It's going to be pretty good on Bloom teams. I would put it at like B tier in Bloom teams, but other than that, it's probably going D tier. So yeah, it's between B and D depending on the team. I would put it at C tier as like an average. Twin Nephrite is going to give you crit rate, and then the passive is kind of whatever. It's going to activate after you beat an opponent, which is not really convenient. But when it activates, it's going to be pretty good. It's going to give you attack, crit rate, and a decent base attack for a 3-star weapon at least. But yeah, so I'm going to put it at C tier. It's not like super bad and unusable, but it's definitely not that good. We've got the Amber Bed. Wait, I don't think that's released. Wait, let me check. Yeah, it's not released. Yeah, I caught it this time. I didn't include weapons that are not released. So yeah, we're just gonna put that D tier to get rid of it. Favonius Codex is just energy recharge and stuff like that. It's going D tier. The Witsit is gonna give you crit damage, which is pretty good. And then for the buff, it really kind of depends. But for the average buff, I would put it at B tier, around B tier, yeah. I mean, all of the buffs are gonna be good, but you know, the uptime and stuff like that. So yeah, I think B tier is the right place. We've got the Sacrificial Fragments, Elemental Mastery, a huge elemental mastery substat, which is very good, and then the passive is just going to reset your elemental skill. That's not really that important. Her elemental skill doesn't really have like a long cooldown in the first place, so you're not really going to need that. But for the elemental mastery and stuff like that, it's still going to be a decent weapon. Wouldn't really say it's super good, but it's still usable. I would put it at like lower B tier or C tier. It kind of like depends. Yeah, I'll put it at lower B tier. We've got the Royal Grimoire. I don't really like that weapon. Yeah, it's going to give you a decent base attack, but that's about it really. The passive is just kind of like bullshit. I think I'm going to put it at like C tier. We've got the Solar Pearl, an average base attack for a 4-star weapon, and then it's going to give you crit rate, which is like pretty good, and then it's going to increase your auto attack damage and your elemental skills damage. And all of these are going to be very good on Nahida. So yeah, I would put this weapon at like A tier depending on the refinements. If you have it like refinements 1, it's probably going to be more like B tier. But refinement 2, 3 and stuff like that is definitely one of her best weapons. So yeah, I'd put it A tier. If it was like refinements 5, I'd probably put it at even like S tier. So yeah, I think A tier is the right place. Prototype Amber is just some HP and stuff like that. It's going D tier. Mappa Mare is going to give you elemental mastery, and then it's going to give you elemental damage bonus. All of these are going to be good. It also depends on like the refinements. If you have it like R5, it's definitely going to be much better. So yeah, Mappa Mare is going A tier. I think that's the right place. Blackcliff is going to give you crit damage and a decent base attack. The passive is just attack, but you're not going to have that most of the time. So yeah, I think B tier is probably the right place. Eye of Perception is just gonna give you attack and then some bullshit passive, so we're gonna put that at C tier. Wine and Song is just some attack and energy recharge, so I would say D tier. Frostbearer is just attack too. I'd probably say it's D or C tier. Let's put it at C tier. Dodoco Tails, if you had it before, is just attack, and then it's gonna increase your normal and charge attacks damage. But yeah, generally I wouldn't really say it's that good of a weapon. I'll put it at like C tier. Hakushin Ring is more of like a support weapon. I'll probably put it at like D tier. Oathsworn Eye is just attack and energy recharge. I'll put it at like C or D tier too. Probably D tier. We've got the Wandering Even Star. It's gonna give you elemental mastery and then it's gonna give you attack, and it's also gonna buff your teammates. I'd probably put it at like B tier. That's probably the right place. And then we have the Fruit of Fulfillment. It's gonna give you energy recharge, but you're gonna be losing attack, which is definitely not good. So yeah, I'd probably put it at like D or C tier. Let's put it at C tier. You know what? Nah, it's D tier. You're gonna be losing attack, which is not good, especially for an on-field Nahida. So yeah, D tier it is. Now, for the 5-star weapons, this is like a usual DPS build, you can say. She just needs extra elemental mastery and that's it, so all of the 5 stars are gonna be like pretty good just for the like high base attack and stuff like that. So we have the Skyward Atlas, a super high base attack, and then also an attack substat. It's also gonna increase your damage bonus from the passive and give you like some extra hits. It's pretty good for any like on-field character who auto attack. Even though it doesn't give you any crit or elemental mastery and stuff like that, I would say it's still pretty good. So I would put it at like B tier. Lost Prayer is gonna give you crit rate, which is pretty good, and then when you're on field you're gonna gain elemental damage bonus, which is also pretty good. I wouldn't really say it's like a top tier weapon, but it's definitely gonna be pretty good. I would put it at like lower A tier or higher B tier. Let's put it at like higher B tier. It's probably the best one at B tier. We've got the Memory of Dust. It's just gonna give you basically attack and that's it. I'd put it at like B tier too, probably lower than Lost Prayer, but yeah, I would say B tier is the right place. Everlasting Moonglow, no, it's just straight to D tier. I'm always being harsh on that weapon, but yeah, it's bad. Now we have the Kagura's Verity. It's gonna give you crit damage and then it's gonna increase your elemental skills damage. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to have 3 stacks. You might be able to have them, but not like for a long time, so yeah. But it's definitely still gonna be a very good weapon. A very good crit damage substat and a decent base attack, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. I would probably put it at S tier. I'd say it's probably one of her top tier weapons. And finally we have the 8000 Floating Dreams. That's her signature weapon. So it's going to give you a lot of elemental mastery, kind of a low base attack for a 5-star weapon, but it's okay. And then it's going to increase your damage bonus and elemental mastery depending on your team. It's also going to buff the rest of your team, which is pretty good. Even though it's not like specially made for on-field Nahida, it's probably made for like more off-field Nahida, but even on-field it's going to be very, very good. It's definitely an S tier weapon even for on-field. I think the Kagura's Verity is probably still going to be better, but they're like generally the same. It's on the same tier for on-field Nahida. So yeah, I'd put it S tier behind the Kagura's Verity, but it's definitely a top tier weapon. So yeah, this is the weapons tier list for on-field Nahida. Now moving on to the off-field weapons ranking. So I'm going to tell you the requirements for off-field Nahida's weapons too before we start. Before we start with that though, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm really going to appreciate that. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. Thank you. So for off-field Nahida, you're also going to need elemental mastery, a lot of it. You probably want to still stay at around like 1000 elemental mastery even for off-field Nahida. But even if you pass that for on-field, it's going to be okay because usually you're going to be benefiting from it. But elemental mastery is going to scale much better than like on-field Nahida. It's going to be much more important. So weapons that are going to give you elemental mastery are going to have like more value. Now you're going to need crit before attack. So crit rate and crit damage are going to scale much better than attack. And then you're going to still need attack, but it's not as important as before because her off-field attacks are mostly going to scale off of her elemental mastery. So it's kind of like the same really. It's just like the stat priorities that's going to change. Well, that's actually going to make a big difference in the ranking of the weapons. So yeah, let's go to the tier list and see the ranking. So we're going to have the Magic Guide. It's going to be a very, very good weapon on her when she's off field because the only like weakness that the Magic Guide has is the low base attack, and when she's off field she's not really going to care about that much. So yeah, it's going to be a very good weapon. I would probably put it at A tier. Thrill and Tales, it's not really going to be that good. It's just like a support weapon, so yeah, it's still going to be D tier. Otherworldly Story, it's probably going to be D tier too. Emerald Orb is going to give you elemental mastery, and then the passive is going to be like kind of useless. It's just going to increase your attack, which is not really that important. important, but it's still gonna be a decent weapon. I'd probably put it at like maybe C or B tier. I'd probably still put it at like C tier. It's not that good. Twin Nephrite is just like crit rate, and then the attack is just gonna be useless, so it's probably going C tier. Well, that's not released, so it's going D tier. Favonius Codex is D tier 2, it's just energy recharge. I'm sorry if I'm skimming through the weapons very quick, but as you guys know, we're doing like off field, on field, so it's basically like 2 videos at once, so we're gonna have to do it like kind of quick. We've got the Widset. It's still gonna be very good even on field Nahida, mainly only for the crit damage substat. It's gonna be very valuable, and the passive is still like kind of good, but it's gonna lose some value. The attack passive is not really gonna be that important, so yeah, it's gonna lose some value, but it's still definitely gonna be a very good weapon. For outfield Nahida, I'd probably put it at like B tier. We've got the sacrificial fragments. It's gonna be a very good weapon, especially with refinements for outfield Nahida. With like R5 or something like that, it's probably going A tier or S tier maybe, and if you have it like R1, it's probably a B tier. So I'd put it at the average. I'd put it at around lower A tier. I think that's the right place. A Royal Grimoire is going D tier. Solar Pearl, it's gonna lose a lot of value. It's not gonna be as good as like on field Nahida, but it's still gonna increase your elemental skills damage, which is pretty good. But yeah, it's still gonna be a decent weapon. I'd put it at around B tier. Prototype Amber, D tier. Mappa Mare is not really gonna be that good. It was good before, mainly for the kind of like high base attack, but now that it's gonna lose that, it's just gonna give you like some elemental mastery and damage bonus. I would say it's still gonna be decent, especially with higher refinements, but it's not gonna be like super good. I would put it at lower B tier. Blackcliff Agate is still gonna give you crit damage, which is pretty good. Basically, the passive is gonna be useless right now, but the crit damage substat is still gonna have some value. I would put it at like lower B tier too. Eye Perception, D tier. Wine and Song, D tier 2. Frostbearer, D tier 2. Dodoco Tails, D tier. All of these are gonna be like attack weapons, or they're gonna increase your auto attacks, which is not really important right now. Hakushin Ring, I would say it's gonna be usable if you're using it with Electros. It's gonna be buffing your party members and stuff like that, but still I wouldn't really say it's a good weapon on like off-field Nahida. So I'd put it C tier. Outsworn Eye is just attack and energy recharge, so I'd say D tier. We've got the Wandering Even Star. It's gonna give you elemental mastery, which is pretty good. And then the attack increase, as I said, it's not really gonna be as good as before. It's gonna lose a lot of value. It's still gonna increase your teammates' attack, but that depends on if the rest of your team needs attack or not. So it can be a good weapon, but I wouldn't really say it's like super good. I would put it at B tier too. We've got the Fruit of Fulfillment. It's basically just gonna be giving you some elemental mastery. That's basically about it, really. It's just some elemental mastery. I would say it's still pretty decent. Not like super good, but it's still gonna be decent. So yeah, I'd put it at B tier. Skyward Atlas is just going to be giving you attack, which is not like super important, but it's going to be giving you like a huge amounts of attack. So it's still not going to be like super usable. I wouldn't put it at D tier, but it's probably going C tier. Lost Prayer is going to give you crit rate, which is pretty good. And then since you're playing her off field, then it's not going to give you like any passive pretty much. But I would say the crit rate and the kind of high base attack are still going to be kind of good. I would still put it at B tier, probably lower B tier, but it's still going to be usable. Memory of Dust is just attack, so it's going to C tier. Everlasting Moonglow, D tier 2. Kagura's Verity is still going to be a very good weapon. It's not really going to differ much from before. It's still going to increase your elemental skill damage, which you're still going to use even for off-field Nahida. And it's going to give you crit damage, which is pretty good. So yeah, I'd probably still put that at S tier. And finally, you have 1,000 Floats in Dreams. Right now, it's basically just going to be like an elemental mastery stat stick. It's going to give you elemental mastery, give your party elemental mastery, which is pretty good, and then increase your damage bonus. So yeah, it's definitely going to be very good for off-field Nahida. It's definitely the best in slot. So yeah, it's definitely going S tier, and it's the first one at S tier. It's definitely going to be better than the Kagura's Verity. They're like around the same tier, but the 1,000 Floats in Dreams is definitely going to be the better weapon. So yeah, this is the ranking for off-field Nahida's weapon. So yeah, I think that was it, guys. Give me your rankings in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see y'all in the next video. Peace.